So, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Welcome to the third live session of the 1st of October. It is kick-off day here in New Zealand, Aotearoa, for Connected Educator Month. And we're delighted to bring you in this session a wee showcase to spotlight the some of the just a wee taster of some of the amazing events that are going to be rolling out through the next 31 days. So kia ora, my name is Karen Malursh-Spencer, working with Core Education, and also the lucky person who is bringing Connected Educator to New Zealand with an amazing whānau of colleagues and supporters from Core, but also right across New Zealand as well. And what I'd like to do is to ask Phoebe to introduce herself. Phoebe is co-hosting with me this morning, so I'll just hand over to you, Phoebe, to kick us off as well today.
Kia ora koutou. He whatunga tangata, he whatunga mātanga, tihei mauri ora. Tēnā tātou katoa, greetings and welcome to you all. I'm Phoebe Davis, and it's my honour and pleasure to be working alongside Karen today and for the rest of this month. Welcome to you all. It's wonderful. We've got 15 in already, and I'm sure we're going to get more. So I'll hand it back to Karen. We may be having our karakia come up, and I'll do that now. So he inoi tātou. Let us pray. Karakia te matanga, kia hora te marino, kia whakapapa paunamu te moana, hei huarahi mo tātou e te rangi nei, aroha atu, aroha mai, tātou ia tātou katoa, hui e, tai kia. Kia ora, Karen. Kia ora, everybody.
Kia ora, Phoebe, settling us in for the day or for this particular session with that karakia. Thank you very much. It's wonderful to have you with me again on this wee journey that we have had today. So just before we launch into the session, just a couple of housekeeping bits and pieces, particularly for those of you who for whom online workshops might be a bit new, or if you haven't used Adobe before. The first really important rule, she said, sounding like a cross teacher, if we can have all our microphones on mute unless we are speaking, it reduces the echo and it reduces the chance of you being overheard, multitasking wherever you are in New Zealand or having a conversation with someone else. So next to your name, the picture of the microphone should have a little line through it, and the microphone at the top of your screen will either be white or green with a line through it, a little bit like I'm pointing to on the slide now. So microphones on mute, please, folks. Much appreciated. Secondly, at the top of your screen, there is an icon with a little person with their hand in the air. You can use that if you want to ask a question or paki paki, or laugh or smile, or indicate to the facilitators that you'd like to jump in. So that icon is at the top of your screen as well. And do use the chat column, it's straight underneath me here, to ask questions, share comments, tell us where you're from. Just type in the box at the bottom and press return. Just a couple of things to note: these sessions are recorded and will be available from the Connected Educator website for other people to watch and listen to again. We are also capturing points, possibly in a shared doc. If Elizabeth, I don't know if you're doing that this morning, or could be via live tweets. So we are trying to make sure that other people can grab the information after the session or follow in a different way as well. If you present in this session, and we have quite a lot of presenters in this session, you can claim your digital Connected Educator presenter badge from the Connected Educator website. We've got a whole range of ways that people can show their learning digitally right through the month, and so several of you will be able to claim that after today. But equally, there are badges for sharing reflections in blogs and participating on social networks and online communities. So do go and check out the online badges that are part of Connected. At the end, we'll share a link with you if you could take half a minute just to tell us how useful you found this session. And do jump over to the Connected Educator website. Make sure that you signed up for news right through the month as well. Today is just the beginning of 31 days of awesome professional learning opportunities, so do get involved in ways that are most useful to you and your learners. So there we go, just a little bit of housekeeping. And just huge greetings to all of you in the room, people who have just arrived and who are jumping in. Wonderful to see you all. I'm Karen Malure-Spencer, working with CORE to bring Connected Educator to New Zealand this year. Super exciting day today as we get started. Can I also take this opportunity to thank one of our key sponsors for the month, N4L, who are going to be weaving lots of activities right through October in relation to the Pond Network, and we have Carolyn Stewart with us today, plus other colleagues from N4L as well, who are with us today, and they'll be sharing shortly some of the cool things that you can get involved with. The reason it says day 16 on this slide is because the Starter Kete resource, which we did a big session on this morning, has 31 days of digital technology learning woven through, and you can get involved in Pond activities on day 16, or start today. That would be absolutely fine. Okay, let's kick into this particular session. So for the next 30-40 minutes or so, you're going to get a whistle-stop tour through just a wee taste of some of the amazing events that organisations and individuals right across New Zealand have pledged for the next 31 days. Not only people from New Zealand and educators offering a whole array of different learning opportunities, but we are also part of the Global Connected Educator Month initiative right across the world, but particularly right across the States and in Australia. We have partners over in Victoria who are with us this morning. I know Norway and Canada, but equally people from any country in the world can get on board, and there is a huge collaborative calendar that has professional learning opportunities right across every time zone for you to cherry pick from and to take part in. This morning though, we're going to be a little bit selfish, a little bit one-eyed, and have a look particularly at events that are being offered by New Zealanders and that are happening very much within our own time zone. They range right across the 7 global themes. So these are themes that weave right through the month. They were voted for in the run-up to Connected Educator Month, and no doubt, regardless of your own educational background or context, primary, secondary, kura, kohanga, early childhood, tertiary, that there will be at least one of those themes that is of particular importance to you, particular relevance to your own inquiry and your own learning focus. There are activities that relate to a whole array of different topics, right through from digital technologies, literacy, numeracy, leadership, how we engage communities, how we engage whānau. We've got events happening in multiple languages, particularly Te Reo Māori and Pacifica languages, and really it's up to you as educators to drive your own pathway through the month and to use it as a springboard into growing your own digital skills, but in also harnessing those online spaces to really tap into some of the professional learning that is on offer for us through the month. Just a couple of things from me before we introduce our first guest. I just wanted to give you a wee taster of some of the opportunities coming up. So here we are now in launch week. School holidays, who cares about those? We are using the fact that we're not all possibly in school with our students to really be selfish and concentrate on our own professional learning. So there are activities running right across the next 3 days, and you're here, so you will have learned about them already, but I'm just going to make sure I drop that link into the chat for you. We have another session this afternoon. We have sessions running throughout tomorrow and into Friday as well. And it would be lovely if you could join us for as many of those as you are able to and that you want to take part in as well. I'd like to mention 2 book groups. There are book groups running internationally as well. If you look at the slide, the book on the bottom right, The Connected Educator, that was the inspiration 2 years ago for the original Connected Educator Month in the US. And you can explore that book with the authors as part of the international book group. And the link is on the page there for you. We're also running 2 of our own book groups. NZCER kick off their book group on Friday this week, exploring key competence for the future. Really timely, relevant book for all educators in New Zealand, focusing on, future focused 21st century learning. What does that actually look like, and how do the key competencies provide a vehicle for that learning? Highly recommended, very readable, and the first webinar kicks that off on Friday. And in 3 weeks' time, we're being joined by Ewan McIntosh of NOTOSH, who has just published a book that focuses on how schools can be innovative, creative spaces and take a design thinking approach to strategic development. So do get involved in one of those book groups, and they tick through as a combination of webinars and online discussions through the month. The Starter Kete, we had a session this morning that gave a wee overview of this. This is the perfect starting point for any educator who is maybe a little bit curious, maybe wanting to just have a wee play with particular digital technologies before launching themselves off into the blogosphere or off into Twitter or whatever. This Starter Kete is 31 days of little taster activities around a whole array of different technologies. So whether you or somebody you know is just beginning their digital journey, or whether you're looking for the next challenge, there's a whole differentiated array of activities that people could get on board with. So I would really recommend that you have a look at the Starter Kete and also share that with colleagues as well. Quick example of the kinds of things that are in there, particularly for colleagues who might not yet have tried an online social network like Twitter, but for example, day 3, you can learn about tiho. That might be a new word for some of you. Te reo Māori word for Twitter. So you can learn, for example, what is Twitter, activities to follow, all adapted for a New Zealand audience, and digital badges that you can award yourself when you have completed them as well. So do jump in and have a look at the Starter Kete. Okay, any questions for me before I hand over to Phoebe and begin the series of tasters for this morning? Do throw some questions in the link. I'm just giving Phoebe 2 seconds to get herself set up before we go into the next wee slot. Yeah, Elizabeth, just keep an eye on the link there. Some questions coming through. Okay, handing over to the marvellous Phoebe Davis up in the Winterless North, who is going to give you a quick taster for the next few minutes of the kinds of activities that you could dip into throughout October that have a particular focus around culturally responsive practice, particularly Māori education, professional learning focused on Māori learners. So over to you, Phoebe.
Kia ora anō everyone, it's just great to have you here, and our numbers are growing. 22, last time I talked to you we had 15, so ka pai. Mai mai, haere mai to our new participants. Okay, kaupapa Māori, there's a wide smorgasbord of choices for you in these 31 days. And if you've been on to the calendar already, you'll see some that are already there, and there are some that are still developing and coming on up. and there'll be lots more as the days go on. We kick off our first one tomorrow at 11:30. It's our workshop on change leadership, which is connecting Māori and Pacifica. So we have a range of panelists that are specialists and New Zealand renowned in their own right, and some international. They've had international exposure as well. So they're on tomorrow at 11:30, and we're talking change leadership connecting Māori and Pacifica, which is really great. There's all sorts of kōrero on whānau engagement and how they can help with our Pacific and Māori whānau within kura, kohanga reo, puna reo. So be sure to get on at 11:30 tomorrow morning. We also have a webinar later on learning and digital technologies. That's with the infamous Anaru White, all the way in Aotearoa, Christchurch, and he has an array of tools and information that he will share with you online in a webinar. We also have a blog coming through to you as well, and a webinar on improving educational outcomes for Māori boys with technologies on the marae. That's where our wonderful, fabulous, lovely Jason Ruakere, and all the way in Taranaki, who will be talking through that with you and sharing his blog and just having a kōrero really and a general chat about how he gets on with working with Māori boys and working along improving the educational outcomes. Those are just three. There's a myriad of other ones coming on up. Look on our calendar. You could also narrow down your what's it called again? Narrow down your filters so that you can put Māori, and there'll be a whole lot that will come up. But keep looking; they're coming on as we speak. It's lovely to see two of our co-facilitators there in our photo, Maria Tibble and Justin Roberts, who are in Rotorua, and I'm sure they're going to be online, and you're going to meet them face to face in terms of webinars or blogs that they're having. So no reira, keep looking. There's wonderful things there. There's work on there's workshops on cultural location. There's workshops, webinars on Māori e-learning framework that's coming on, and people might be interested in that. So please, please, please. Our webinars are not just in English. There are some that are totally in Te Reo, and there are some also in a mixture of Te Reo and English. So please, please, please join us all and keep looking on that calendar. Nō reira, tēnā tātou katoa. Back to you, Karen.
Kia ora, Phoebe. A wonderful little taster there. I was madly throwing links into the chat as well. Links to the a calendar, which is just New Zealand events, and also the global calendar, which includes New Zealand, but all the other events happening around the world as well. So you can pick and choose whichever is easiest for you, and filter for to look particularly for Māori education events, and on the global calendar, I think also under Indigenous peoples as well. So there you go, fantastic. Thank you very much, Phoebe. That's wonderful. And you can find Phoebe on Twitter if you have any other questions about those events as well. Okay, and if you have questions as we're going through, just throw them into the chat, and we will come to them as we come along. Right, Alana is up next. Alana King. Now I know that it looks like, Alana, you've been possibly dropping in and out slightly this morning. I don't know if you can get your camera turned on. I can fill airspace for about another 10 seconds while Alana, if you can, we can certainly hear you. Yes, we can hear you.
I'm not going to turn the camera on because I'm in the Corey Lounge and I feel silly enough as it is.
Go, Alana. Tell us about the events that you have been leading. You're going to lead this month.
Okay, next screen. Next screen? Yeah, there you go. Okay, so as Karen said in the earlier bit, we're having a 31 days. This is day 25. Day 25, Connected Learning Manifesto. It's a Google Doc put on it what being a connected educator means for you. Boom, next slide. Educamps happen all around. Gee, I'm talking quietly because I feel really silly. Educamps happen all around New Zealand. We're running one in Nelson on the 18th of October. The idea of an Educamp is that teachers get together and talk about their practice. It's not a stand and deliver type of thing. As you can see in this slide, it's just teachers in small groups sharing with one another. Very powerful learning. If you haven't ever been to one, it can be quite inspiring and invigorating. Short and sweet and meeting your needs. Boom, next slide. Or maybe not. 18th of October in Nelson, but they happen all around the place. This is one I'm running. You might know of the Bling for Your Blog, which is quite popular, helping people use Blogger in their classrooms. So I'm running a blogging clinic. So the idea is via Twitter and the hashtag CEMblog. If you post a question, I will do my absolute utmost to either provide you with a tutorial or point you to an answer to help your blogging questions. I'm talking very quickly because my plane is about to leave very soon. That's pretty much me done. It's an exciting event. I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh, kia ora, Alana, and I don't know if you ever needed proof of what connected education can look like. There it was, not just in the events that Alana has shared for you, a mix of blended, face-to-face, online, lots of opportunities for kind of grassroots, community-driven professional learning, but the fact that she's presenting from the airport on her way to catch another flight, dedication for you, and just wonderful. So we really appreciate you being here, Alana, and hey, lucky Koru Lounge is what I say. So that's wonderful. So do check out those events. The links are in her slides there, and that's just giving you a taster of 2 or 3 things coming up with a really great focus around digital technologies and spaces for teachers to connect and share. And Sonia, you're up next. So just while you're getting yourself together, apologies if you can hear a drill. I've got the road being dug up outside the office. Hopefully you can hear me okay. So Sonia, if you can turn your camera on and we'll make sure that you're all good to go. That's wonderful. And just to, before Sonia starts, just to remind you of the link again, that you can search just for these events on the New Zealand calendar on the website as well. Hopefully you can't hear that awful drilling sound. Right, I am going to hand over to Sonia, who just at the moment of truth has lost connection, as happened to us this morning. And I have to say that I have lost connection twice while Alana was speaking as well. But Sonia is back again, so we'll hopefully she is with us. I'm just going to see, Sonia, whether you can turn your camera on again. Wonderful.
Yeah, I'm back again.
So that's wonderful, Sonia. Without further ado, people can see just from your slide the amazing array of different connected initiatives that you're involved in, most of them driven in your own time. But the one and only Sonia is going to give you a taster of a couple of things that, that she is driving this Connected Educator Month. Over to you, Sonia.
Thanks, Karen. Talofa lava and kia ora, and greetings everyone tuning in. If you are a Teach Meet NZ, do tweet us out because this session is just for you. I'm Sonia Van Schaik and I'm speaking to you from my Principal Dr. Coford's office in Newmarket School, Auckland, New Zealand. It is spring here and the time is it's about 12:30. This is the 3rd year I've been involved in Connected Educator Month and I'm excited to see New Zealand playing a greater part this year. And thanks, Karen, for inviting me and getting me involved at the national level. I'm a teacher from Newmarket School, and Teach Meet NZ was developed as part of my Core Education e-Fellowship and fine-tuned and sent live as part of my Teach NZ sabbatical inquiry.
Teach Me Eden Z is the outcome of my solo taxonomy thinking when I realized it was a multi-structural educator focusing only on the tool for teaching and learning. And a shout out here to Pam Hook and Virginia Kung, my solo mentors. During a quarterly Teach Me Eden Z session, I'm generally the host and moderator, but no session ever goes live without a fabulous group of educators who step in behind and support everyone new to Google Hangouts. And you know who you are, and I see a few of you have joined us here today. So fabulous to see you here. In addition to our quarterly, we have educators run a subject-specific session, and you can check out their past sessions on the wiki. Teach Me Eden Z generally reflects New Zealand educators sharing their learning stories, and sometimes we bring in outside educators as part of a specialist theme. Our educators represent all sectors, including early childhood, primary, secondary, tertiary, and sometimes even facilitators. Every session is live streamed and recorded. Presenters end up with an artifact for their portfolio. They usually blog about their experience and they receive a digital badge. And I see Chris here with me who gave me the idea about digital badges. So on Teach Me Eden Z, we're always sharing the love. Like I'm here now, I'm wearing my EdChat in Z lanyard. A lot of our educators coming from EdChat and Z discussions. For Connected Educator Month, we're running 2 sessions. One is on Saturday, which is our general quarterly session, and a special one happening at the end of October on the 25th, co-hosted with Matt Esterman and his team from Teach Me Sydney. Can we have that third slide now? Thanks, Karen. The third Connected Educator event is a fabulous collaborative project that involves 10 Kiwi educators. Each educator has taken one current education term and will write the irrelevance of it and post it to their blog. Each blog post author has a disruptive friend who will give feedback on their post and support them with discussion on their chosen label. I put out a shout out here to other disruptive educators who have been pushing me along in my thinking, and I thought we were doing something new, but something like this has already been done before in New Zealand. These fabulous, we aim to have an ebook published for you all to read on the 31st of October. These fabulous educators have until the 20th of October to write their blog post, so our time schedule is tight, and for this event, I'm still looking for out to create our book image. This book will be underpinned by whanaungatanga or making connections, and I'm putting a shout out to Julie Lindsay, who has pushed my thinking about being a connected educator. In addition, if you wish to run a Teach Me Eden Z general discussion, do get in contact with me at Van Schaik on Twitter. Finally, if you happen to be at ULearn, do come and join me and Virginia Kong as we have been collaborating on a rail safety curriculum resource. It's not about trains, it's about developing citizenship and solar taxonomy. And thanks everyone for joining us here today. Thanks, Karen.
Kia ora. That's wonderful, Sonia. Thank you very much for giving us a whistle-stop tour through the special events that you have taken the time to put together. These kind of things take far more organization than I think anybody realizes until they actually do it. And so your energy and enthusiasm and drive is hugely appreciated. So thank you very much, Sonia. You can find Sonia very easily through Twitter and through Google+. And if you're looking for the 3 events that she has talked about, you can search for Teach Me to NZ on the Connected Educator calendar. Get in touch with us as well if you're wanting to know more information about those. But that's wonderful. Thank you very much, Sonia. I'll let you slide away if there are no other questions, but that's wonderful. And up next is a colleague of mine, Temihinga, and I'm just going to give you a chance, Temihinga, just to get yourself ready and to grab the microphone. Sonia, you can have your camera off now if you like. I've noticed a little bit of connection may not be quite as secure as we would hope, so you can Temihinga Komini, who works with me at Core Education as part of the Māori Medium Facilitation whānau, and Temihinga is going to talk to you about one of the events that is going to be happening during the month as well. So, Temihinga, over to you. Kia ora.
Kia ora. Can you hear me?
Right. Yeah, I think you just need to either lean into your microphone, just make sure
Okay.
it is as loud as possible.
Yep. What about this? Check, check.
Yep.
Kia ora. Okay.
Tapai.
Okay, tēnā koutou katoa, ko te mihinga kōmini tōku ingoa. I hope that slide that was up just before didn't scare you. But it's pūkana as a sign of welcome. Nō reira, I'm a Māori medium facilitator, and I'm also in the publishing team for Core Education. I'm going to be uploading shortly a reo Māori and also a bilingual move note presentation about getting whānau more engaged on Twitter. We've got lots of whānau that get engaged when Native Affairs is on Māori TV on Monday nights, so we'd like to widen that audience and get more things happening, making suggestions of who to connect to, what chats to follow, tweets, especially reo Māori ones, and also providing a glossary of useful tiho or Twitter terms and phrases that you can tweet out. And our hashtag is hashtag te reo, that Tahupaki, another colleague, and I started up, and it's kind of picking up pretty good, pretty well. We're getting interviews from all sorts of people, so it's going awesome. And as a follow-up during You Learn next week, we've also got a breakout session on the Thursday, breakout 3, and that's going to, because it's a big push. We see it's so useful, tiho, for a lot of people to get the information out there, to share ideas and to share resources, which is a huge thing, especially for kaiako Māori and all our kura. And we're going to be just having lots of things we can share there, and having fun with our language. One way that we do it is we have a lot of colloquialisms or kiwaha, and we kind of chuck it up with the pictures to get that aligns to the image, and just to make it more fun and more accessible to a lot of people. So like you see there, my kuri, that's at our fabulous batch in the Kawhia Harbour. I'm sure you know where Kawhia is. And so there's an example there, hangareka ana, wara crack up. So that's, yeah, things that we can use every day and we can tweet out. So I hope you can join me once I put the resource online. Ngā mihi. Thank you.
Kia ora, Temihinga. That's absolutely wonderful. We talked in the planning for Connected Educator Month about how could we stand on the shoulders of the global team, particularly the team in the United States, and not only learn from them, but also share with educators outside New Zealand professional learning that is really particular to New Zealand Aotearoa, and that walks the talk around bicultural and multicultural learning. And one of the things that we have had a big push on is making sure that at all stages of the planning that we are inclusive of different languages, different cultures. You'll have seen on the Connected Educator website a whole array of different resources and different, you know, I'm thinking about, for example, in the supporters kete, there's examples of tweets that you can tweet out in te reo Māori, tweets in English. We've got tweets in different Pacifica languages coming out as part of the month as well. And it's really about trying to design online professional learning that anybody in New Zealand can see themselves in and that want to be part of. So we're really using Connected Educator Month to show the world and also to learn ourselves about how we can keep improving in this space as well. So Temihinga, you've really given us a taste there of how we can take what we know about working in Tiho, in Twitter, and be inclusive in the way that we use different languages, and also harness the tool to improve our own te reo as well. So that's wonderful. Thank you very much. Okay, and swiftly moving on to Anthony Vaitawa, who is based with the Pacifica whānau down in Christchurch in Core. And we were really keen to make sure that during this showcase this morning that we were able to spotlight some of the events that are coming up that are particularly focused around Pacifica peoples and Pacifica languages. So Anthony, you're the man. Over to you to give us a wee taste of what's coming up, man.
Kia ora, Karen. Thank you for the opportunity. Kia ora, talofa, everyone. When we heard about this, the Pacifica team jumped on board as well, and on behalf of the Pacifica, I'm actually representing the Pacifica team from Core Education. My name is Anthony Faitawa, and I used to teach here in Christchurch, here in New Zealand. I think one of the key things that we love about this is collaborating and connecting with just outside our little bubble here in New Zealand. So we thought, yes, let's jump on board. What I'm going to do is just give you some ideas of what the events and activities our Pacifica team have put together for the month. So if I could get Karen just to share the next slide, great. So here we have some presenters who are going to present or either tweet or blog or do some webinars with, connecting around globally. You will see we have Maria and Joseph. Now, Maria and Joseph are currently secondary teachers at Shirley Boys High School here in Christchurch. And when we offered this opportunity to them, Maria just said, yep, show me how to get on there, because I really want to connect with the world about what they do with their Pacifica learners at their school, because it's a great opportunity for them. We also have Manu and myself who will be doing a blogging month on Fridays. We will alternate some blogging about Pacifica learners, families and communities. So that's happening on Fridays. And then we have our Losa Lima and Ruta, who are our early years team, and they are also going to be sharing some wonderful things about engaging with Pacifica learners in early childhood. Tongi and Shannon, they are our online go-to people. They will be tweeting out a lot of stuff about Pacifica, and I think the most important thing that we're going to actually share globally is that October is probably a big month for sharing Pacifica Language Week. For example, this week it is Tuvalu Language Week. Next week it's Fiji. The following week is Niue. And then at the end of the month it is Tokoloa Language Week. So it's a big, huge month for Pacifica, and we really want to share that out globally to everyone. If you want to find out more about the events and activities on the homepage there, that's where the links are going to be to come on board. So that's going to be our homepage, and then once when you connect to the homepage, it will actually take you to other parts that how we're going to connect globally with everyone. Finally, I think there is another page there, Karen. That's it. That's the homepage there. It's on the Virtual Learning Network under Pacifica Education Plan. And finally, I think one of the biggest focus for this month for Pacifica is the Pacifica Education Plan, how we're going to connect with our Pacifica learners, parents, families, and communities. And we'd love to hear what other people are doing globally, and we also like to share our own practice as well with everyone, and just a fantastic opportunity for us to grow our practice. So ka pai, it's really good to meet everyone. Looking forward to this month. We're actually excited, inspired by those who have pledged and put on some events and activities. We're looking forward to it. So ka pai, over to you, Karen.
Try again with the microphone on. Whawhatai lava, Anthony, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for that and for pledging those kind of events. It is really exciting how actually we've got all of those language weeks conveniently happening in October, which gives us a perfect opportunity to try out new phrases and to think about the importance of using and knowing and appreciating the different languages of the learners that are in our rooms every day, a great springboard into thinking about who is in front of us every day and how do we include people's language and culture and background as part of our learning design. So to use Connected Educator Month to really think about those particular themes. So thank you very much, Kapai, Anthony, that's brilliant. Carolyn Stewart from N4L, you're up next. I'm just giving you a second to make sure that your microphone is on and that your camera is on as well. And just while Carolyn is settling herself in, you'll recall at the start of this session that I thanked N4L for being our national community sponsor for Connected Educator. The Pond platform is growing in excitement and in terms of the different functionalities that are available on it. In the previous session earlier on this morning when we talked about the starter kete and we talked about where people wanted to start with their professional learning, lots of people in the session said that they were going to start with Pond, that was something that they were curious about, that they hadn't had a chance to really get into it yet, and that they were going to make it a real focus for themselves during Connected Educator Month. So so Carolyn is going to give us a bit of an overview of what that might look like for educators this month. Carolyn, as you can see from the slide, is the education sector lead excuse me, at Network for Learning, and she brings a raft of experience as a school principal and as a long-term educator to the role. So without further ado, Carolyn, and you can use the arrows at the bottom to move through your own slides, tell us a little bit about what's in store this month in Pond.
Kia ora, thank you, Karen. It's just wonderful to be part of Connected Educator Month. As Network for Learning, we just see that Pond fits really well with the ethos of CEM. It's because what we're about is connecting educators and their resources across New Zealand. This screenshot shows the landing page for Pond for those of you who haven't seen it. And what we're really delighted to be able to announce is that Pond is now available to all educators. All you need is for your education sector log on to have Pond entitlement. So the easiest thing is if you already can access eASTIL as a teacher, then you're sweet. There's nothing more for you to do, just go to Pond and log in. If you haven't got access to eASTIL as a teacher, then what you actually need to do is get in touch with the Ministry of Education's service desk, and they will either send you the form or actually get you up and running. So this screenshot just shows when you come into Pond, the landing page, as I said before, and it's where teachers will be able to start their search for relevant curriculum teaching resources. When you've entered a search term, and the search term that we've got showing on the screen is around learning strategies, you get this really interesting 3-column page return. This first column is a Bing return. It could be Bing, it could be Google, but in our case it's Bing, and it's just the normal return you'd get if you'd put learning strategy into your normal search engine. The middle column is a really interesting one because it's actually searching databases that as teachers you are welcome to use, but often just due to time pressure you don't get around to it, or you actually don't even know they exist. The one that we're showing here is TKI, which we know is an environment that lots of teachers use. And so what you have in Pond is the ability to look at what the web returns from a general search and what you might find in TKI. You can also flick to Digital New Zealand, the Science Learning Hub, and Culture and Heritage databases. The third column is the Pond catalogue, and in there you will find resources which other educators across New Zealand have recommended, ones that they know work really well in classrooms, and then you can use those to deepen the search that you have for your curriculum as you're planning your teaching for your class. This view here shows some catalogue items, and once again it's around learning strategies, and so this is just giving you an example of all of the different catalogue items that either educators or providers have put into the POND catalogue. And what you'll notice is in the top row you'll see there's a whole lot of catalogue items that have been submitted by core, but if you go into that middle row you'll see that other educators such as Aotearoa and Nigel Fraser, they have also added content into the POND catalogue. When you click on one of those catalogue items, you get a page that looks a little bit like this. And this is about an Enable workshop for collaborating for successful transitions to school. What the feature that we'd really like to point out on this page, which is new, is that you're now able to actually add a ka pai, a like in only a way that Kiwis can. The other thing that you're able to add to a catalogue item are learning ideas, and we're really hoping that during Connected Educator Month that educators will actually become really, really brave and start adding learning ideas to the catalogue items. Because each week as we look at what educators have been doing in POND, lots and lots of you are adding catalogue items, which is absolutely fabulous. But the challenge that I'd like to issue for you for Connected Educator Month is to start decorating those catalogue items that you've entered with learning ideas, actually telling your colleagues about how you're using that particular online resource to make a difference for students and their learning. The final screen that I just want to show you in this brief introduction to POND is that you also, as well as finding really great teaching and learning ideas, is that you can use POND to connect to other educators across New Zealand. If you look closely at the screenshot, you'll see the ability to follow educators. So if there's somebody in POND who you know is a really cool teacher or who shares similar interests to you as an educator, then you might like to start following them and be connected in that different way. The other thing which I'd really like to be excited is that we're really pleased to be able to announce that this week we are releasing buckets into POND, which is something that a lot of educators have been asking for. And what buckets will allow you to do is to draw together or to bring together a whole lot of different catalogue and learning ideas and actually begin to add notes and comments around them to help you as you plan and deliver your teaching and learning in the classroom. So that's all from me. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing with us, and back to you, Karen.
Kia ora, thank you so much, Carolyn. I was trying to turn on my camera, turn on my mic and tweet at the same time. I clearly need another pair of arms, but that's wonderful. And just announcing there, as you will have heard, the launch of buckets and the way that you can categorize your learning resources. There's clearly a huge amount still of untapped potential in POND for educators to not only curate the best learning resources that support their students, but work with others. And just to add to what Carolyn was saying, I know that another organisation that's using POND during Connected Educator Month is the New Zealand Transport Agency. They have got a number of activities in POND this month. They have shared their wonderful learning resources and are inviting educators to explore them and add comments in POND telling stories about how those learning resources can be adapted and work best for students. So just one great example of how we've got collaboration going on this month and how POND can add value to your learning design that you're putting together for but also with your students as well. So that's wonderful. Thank you very much, Carolyn, for being with us today. And I know that there'll be lots of opportunities right through the month for people to connect to N4L, to ask questions. They're live streaming a session from ULearn next week. So do tune in for that as part of the ULearn Connected Educator collaboration, and other opportunities will be coming online on the calendar soon. So thank you very much. Okay, Carolyn, you can, I was going to say turn your camera off and you beat me to it, and I'd like to move on just while Tessa is getting herself ready. I wanted to just put in a brief mention for 2 virtual field trips which are coming up at the end of October, but which have warm-up events in the last week of October. So Learns, who are part of Core Education, who run virtual field trips right across New Zealand and beyond, they offer real-time and near real-time exploration of different places and spaces and environments right across New Zealand, and we are pretty excited. They've got two really special field trips coming up. One of them focuses on the World War I celebrations and centenary, in conjunction with the New Zealand Transport Agency, are exploring Memorial Park in Wellington as part of a series of virtual field trips. And even bigger and more special than that, LEARNs are taking students virtually to Antarctica at the beginning of November. Fantastic opportunity for students to see as close to first hand as you can get it. The digital technologies will take you there, so do check out the virtual field trips and the warm-up activities that LEARNs are offering as part of Connected Educator Month as well. Really special way for learners to design inquiry around social sciences and science this month as well. I'd now like to introduce Tessa to you, and we are coming towards the closing part of our session today. Tessa is our lucky last this morning. Tessa, dear colleague who I work with in core education, a specialist in blended learning, online learning. She and I have had a huge amount of adventures over the last 2 or 3 years, working out how to really design online learning in a way that's inclusive and responsive. Still learning, aren't we, Tessa? But full credit, I've learned a huge amount from Tessa, which is, reflected right through Connected Educator Month. So handing over to her to share a couple of events that are coming up in enabling e-learning on behalf of the Ministry of Education. Over to you, Tessa.
Thank you, Karen. Can everybody hear me okay? Nice one. Kia ora tātou, saving the best to last, I'm not sure about that. I just think that I've walked into the most esteemed room of educators across New Zealand and beyond, and a little bit spellbound actually by the fact that we've got such an amazing wealth of educative knowledge and expertise across the country, and I just have to thank everybody that's come before me. I must admit, I've been playing in pond this week. I've been having a little swim in pond this week, and I think it's a fantastic sister resource to what we're trying to do in the Virtual Learning Network. I realised I was supposed to put up my bio and I didn't, so whoever's put my bio up for me, thank you very much. I've actually moved on from some of that. But in actual fact, I work as the online facilitator for Enabling E-Learning, which is the Ministry of Education community hub, which sits alongside the sister website for Enabling E-Learning and TKI. And thank you, Elizabeth. I was about to put that link up, so that's fantastic. And Karen messaged us the other day that Little Enabling E-Learning turned 4 years old, and so we're pretty excited by the fact that this learning hub has become something that's been a rich resource that sits alongside, like I said, the resource inside TKI. And by that I mean we've got a community here, and as you can see there, 1,537 members and growing every day. So what actually happens is whenever you turn up to the Virtual Learning Network, we will welcome you, we will invite ourselves to become your friends, and we have a little screenshot of friends on the left-hand side. One note there is, of course, the power of putting imagery inside your profile so that you don't become that grey figure like everybody else. That's what I do really love about the pond layout, is the fact that you can network with your friends and see the resources that they've loaded to the catalogue. Just building on from the idea that we've got a network here that people can share and connect with each other, what I want to say is that, like after Caroline, the idea that it's not just a resource sharing space. What we've actually got here is a designated space that has got 5, now 6 subgroups, including the Network for Learning Managed Network group, that actually link to the e-learning planning framework. So the idea being here that we've got those 5 designated groups for leadership, technologies, teaching, professional learning, and beyond the classroom. They tie in beautifully to all those big concepts and ideas that we're all unpacking in schools around infrastructure, technology, ways to use enabling e-learning tools to impact on learning. And what happens inside each of those groups is there are designated activities and events. And some of those I'm going to bring our attention to in a moment that are specifically designated for October, which ties in nicely with Connected Educator Month. However, I just want to sort of iterate the fact that these are ongoing events that we plan, either as synchronous or asynchronous learning opportunities. For example, we've got the group blog down here, and that's where you'll see ongoing threaded conversations that people start, or Nathaniel and I start. You'll see Nathaniel there with his video introduction. In fact, we've got a page here called Kawaimoto, which introduces ourselves, and you can see who we are when we work online. There's a couple of videos there of Nathaniel and myself, and we also work alongside Jason Kitty as well. And inside that group blog for enabling e-learning, and I love this little pointer tool, it also profiles and updates all the threaded conversations, e-learning opportunities across the virtual learning network and within enabling e-learning, and it summarizes it for 2 weeks. So we have a summarizing blog, and I would really highly recommend that people go and RSS feed that blog so that you can actually get updates about what's happening across e-learning inside the virtual learning network. The other thing too is not only just to join enabling e-learning, but to also find other people that are inside those spaces as well and connect with those, because in actual fact it's not only just what Nathaniel and I do to help bring e-learning to the fore of our conversations about how those tools can impact on learners. We've got a whole lot of community members that also do the same thing, and behind the scenes we connect with these beautiful, wonderful community members who turn up for webinars. But not only that, they actually help present. So there is a current thread that's been going on in the Virtual Learning Network under Enabling e-learning at the moment, and we've tied that into Connected Educator Month. I'm just going to find that link for us, which is actually about personalising learning. And it's the third of a series of 3. And this particular discussion is about a strategy for review and enabling e-learning event, and looking at how personalised learning can impact on our classrooms and the way that we teach in a 21st century curriculum. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because that webinar recording, which actually had Rachel Bolstead from NZCER and Marianne Murphy presenting in that webinar, is available under the webinar recordings link inside Enabling e-learning. So the wonderful thing is we don't just have the threaded conversations and the ones that happen that are ongoing, but we also have those synchronous events that happen live in real time. And if you couldn't make those events, I've just popped a link in there where all the webinar recordings are. Webinar recordings. So that's a wonderful archive in there. There are many other links and opportunities that happen with enabling e-learning all the time, including a little link here that's called collaborative projects. And the reason why that's one to celebrate is because the idea being, if we have community members sharing across this network, and like Carolyn invited us to do, to richen those resources by adding the learning conversations to those, then we've already started that here in Enabling e-learning, and there's an archive of collaborative projects where people have jumped into Google presentations or Google Docs, and then they've actually gone ahead. I'm going to try and turn my mic up. They've actually gone ahead and helped contribute to collaborative projects, and that's where you'll find them under that link on the left-hand side of our group there. And I'm just speeding this up. Is that nice and louder? Sorry about that. Okay, so the other idea being part of October, seeing as we normally do these sort of events anyway, is that we've got some designated live webinars there. I'll talk about another forum that will be uploaded during October, which isn't live yet, after I talk about these 4 live events. So the very first one we have on offer there is the NZQA Assessment Online. We've got guest Steve Barr from NZQA, and he's going to be a lead presenter along with Howard Baldwin. In fact, Howard's going to be in one of our webinars today for Connected Educator Month at 2 o'clock, and Elizabeth also from the Ministry of Education. Now that's actually a designated webinar looking at, I'm going to read my bullet points here, sorry, hopefully nice and loud, specifically looking at the external student assessment in an online environment. So it's really looking at new ways of assessing for NZQA with an e-learning lens, particularly looking at piloting and testing opportunities for school, looking at technical requirements and those things that are needed so that actually comes to fruition and is manageable. And also looking at what others are doing in other countries. So if this is something that's particularly interesting to you because this is something where your school is moving, or it might be that the tech team is considering, and there are implications for infrastructure, management, security systems, etc., I'd highly recommend that one. It's on the 14th of October 3:45 to 4:45 p.m. and that will also be hosted in Adobe Connect, and the links are there. The second one that we've got for the 16th of October, 2 days later, is imagining working together, looking at the agency of student agency teaching each other, the idea of collaboration between students as learners. I think this is kind of one of those breaking new grounds areas. I know that the Virtual Learning Network, the primary school section of it, where schools are collaborating and connecting together, it's not new to them, but actually looking at the whole idea about reimagining students in charge of their learning. And the potential of that is going to be what's going to drive this webinar. And that's going to be with thought leaders Julie Lindsay and Linda Ohala and Tim Gander, who will be looking at ways to redesign learning so that the students are at the heart of it, which again ties in beautifully with the idea about personalising learning being a major theme for enabling e-learning this month and the whole year. Okay, the third one there, the third webinar live that we're offering for you is on the 23rd of October, same time again, using the e-learning planning framework online tool. Now this has just been released this year to all schools. It was available before to the Learning with Digital Technology schools, but now it's available to everybody, and Kath Tafifirangi and Greg Carroll are going to be able to take us through that tool, and we're going to also be having schools discuss how they've used it, Glenfield School, as well as Tua Marina School, who are going to be looking at how they've used this as a self-review tool for themselves to map where they're at and look at their e-capability and how that can be developed by using that tool with their staff. That one I think I would really highly recommend, because there might be certain facets or aspects of that online tool that you're not familiar with and you want to get to know more about. And the last one that we've got on offer there is moving towards the one-to-one digital devices. Again, we've got some very influential people there, Leslie Mahuri, and Principal of Amesbury School, and Mark Quigley, DP of Aotearoa College. They're going to be talking about their experiences and how they've actually gone about implementing one-to-one devices in their schools and the changes and the benefits of that. So not just part of their journey, but in actual fact probably how that's making a difference to those students and why, and possibly even some of the issues that are associated with that, because it's always good to find out some of those pitfalls or those barriers from other people that have tried it first. So I thoroughly recommend that. Those links will take you directly to webinar registrations, and the link at the bottom of the page is actually going to take you to the whole blog that also introduces an upcoming thread, like I said, that will be coming up in October that is not live yet. So there's a link I've just popped in there about the rest of those events. So as well as the ongoing enabling e-learning events for online professional learning and development, these opportunities will enable community members to share their practice. It invites you to come along and share your practice and to share your opinions and views as well and experiences. And there will also be supporting threads, and that means that we can actually model the blended nature of before, during and after these live events. So we encourage you to get involved with those, and like Carolyn said, adding the richness to those resources. So kia ora tātou, thank you very much. Love to see you there.
Kia ora, thank you so much, Tessa. I was just tweeting out some of the things that you were talking about, and enabling e-learning. One of the busy dynamic online communities in New Zealand focused on digital technologies will tie in beautifully with the starter kete and other e-learning focus areas that schools and educators will have during the month. So a really rich set of events there that people can drop in and out of as part of the month. So I'd like to bring this session to a close, and I'm going to invite Phoebe to come up with me now just at the end of this session, just for the last few seconds. Phoebe, we're going to close up this session now. You've heard a rich array of different events that are coming up, and that's just the tip of the iceberg, the tip of the Antarctica iceberg. A whole bunch of stuff coming up, particularly next week. Look, keep an eye out for the live stream coming out from ULearn as part of the month as well, but do get into the NZ events calendar from the Connected Educator website and pick your pathway. You can't do it all. Well, maybe you can, but It's good to be strategic and to choose the professional learning focus that really wraps around what your learners need, what your colleagues need as you go into term 4. So pick the things that are going to tie in best and be the best use of your time. Sign up for the newsletters. There's the global newsletter link there, as well as the New Zealand newsletter there. Any social network you use, tag it, label it, your blogging, your reflections, your comments, drop your visible learning into the Connected Educator stream right through October. If you wouldn't mind grabbing this link and spending 10 seconds telling us how this session was for you, your feedback would be vital. It will inform our event planning right through the month. So if you can jump in and grab that and tell us a little bit about this session, we would really appreciate that as well. And just to finish us off for this session, we have another one in an hour exploring wonderful stories of connected professional learning that are happening across New Zealand, from the Ministry of Education to grassroots connected professional learning. So come and hear it from the mouths of the experts at 2 o'clock in this room if you want to come back and join us there. Meanwhile, I'm going to hand over to my co-host Phoebe just to close off this particular session and give us all some time to go for Kai. Over to you, Phoebe.
Kia ora, Karen. Tēnā tātou katoa ngā kai kōrero e hakahuhua nei o koutou kaupapa I tēnei marama, ki ngā manuhiri hoki I tai mai ki konei. Tēnā rāua koutou katoa. Thank you to our presenters. A wonderful smorgasbord, a wonderful feast, as Elizabeth and Karen said, for the month ahead. So thank you very, very much to our visitors that have come into our whare. Nō reira tēnā tātou katoa. Let's have our final karakia. Karakia, hakamutunga, ka whakairia te tapu, ka wāte ai te ara, ka tūruki whakataha ai, kia tūruki whakataha ai, hui e taiki.
Taiki e.
Kia ora tātou.
Kia ora. And we've used this slide in all our sessions, but I just love that cartoon. If we didn't think we were going to change the world, we wouldn't be here. Let's be here this October, folks.